afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for the kind introduction, and we get on to this afternoon session with the keynote on the art and science of project management. First of all, let me thank the organizers of HES, the 5th edition, for bringing academicians into the hall and talking about some of these relevant topics which are very pertinent in taking the projects forward. So the project management itself is quite vital area to delve into, and we will look into some of these aspects in next few slides and all. Secondly, I would like to really thank the alumni of NICMAR, and a huge round of applause perhaps for Manan and his team. Very much supportive of the project management itself and the institute. I have seen lots of faces from various organizations and industries as well, not only from HOSMAC, but others as well, team from Ahluwalia Construction and others. So just to set the context in terms of why and how project management is so relevant, because the projects are really complex, and the things which we are dealing with in our projects going forward, a lot of transformation and a lot of changes and rapidly emerging technologies, as well as the complexities are coming up in these projects. And that is where we can really look into that. There are, particularly in project management, there are two facets of project management. One is looking at some of the hard side of project management, and the second is the softer side of project management. And that is where this terminology, which is fitting very well in terms of art and science of project management, which blends the analytical framework with the people involved into managing these projects. And that is an intersection. That is where we are really much struggling in terms of getting the balance of the hard side of project management, which are tools, techniques, and softwares and the technology, etc. But the people side is also quite important, and this talk is all about exploring that interface and looking at how this can be really tackled to make the project very successful. I would begin with setting the context of why project management matters now than ever. Reason is that when I did my civil engineering in 90s, hardly the project management as a discipline was recognized at that time. Later on, now 30 years fast forward, I would still say that the project management has picked up its momentum, but still there are lots of areas where this particular domain and the subject need to be introduced in order to get what we all call this quantum of cost overrun, time overrun, and the scope overrun as well. So, and this is very important. Most of these projects happening around are so important that we can't afford losing the sight of these elements. Given that context, that industry is very much looking to deliver the ambitious plans of the various state government, various national government, or even international projects, the pipeline is huge, and there is so much demand in terms of project managers, and where institutions like us are not able to cope up with the demand, which is coming from the campus. There are online provisions as well, which are done by various institutions, IIMs and ISBs and IITs. They are also not able to meet some of these demand, because the requirement is staggering. As per this workforce estimation of Project Management Institute, globally there are roughly 40 million professionals in project management are required. And if you look at India alone, there are almost 3 to 4 million project managers are required over next 5 to 7 years. And when we look at the national government vision of Viksit Bharat and the kind of infrastructure pipeline on the Niti Aayog's agenda, look at the kind of demand in terms of projects, which includes all the infrastructure, which includes the road, rail, ports, even highways and hospitals and health infrastructure and education infrastructure as well. So we are looking at such a spectrum and talking about this this particular subject area in that context, and see the quality what is demanded these days is enormous. Everybody is so aware of the quality of the projects, and when it get delayed, and when the value for money is also looked into project delivery, everything gets very important, and it boils down to how well a project is managed. Going forward, if we look at the definitions, and I won't be laboring too much on this particular aspect, and the only thing which I will stress upon is the projects are getting more and more complex. It need an organized approach. It need really an organized approach. It need the team ethos into the project, managing a project. And also strategically as well, we need to manage the aspects of time, cost, scope in such a way that the outcome is really as per the paper book or the DPR, which we call it, when it comes to finishing. Because neither government appreciate nor people appreciate that if things are going on, and also it becomes more expensive, it all comes to the taxpayers' money as well. If we look at coming back to the topic where it says that it is project management is an intersection of the science and the art. If you look at the science part of this, it talks about methods. What methodologies are available for managing the projects. It talks about the tools, it talks about data, it talks about the predictability, and now with the advent of AI, I think it is becoming more and more important to look at what kind of science is behind projects and how we take them forward, looking at the various technological interventions into that. You would encounter from your own project experiences that digital tools are available. For construction particularly, you have got 5D to 6D or even 7D, talking about 7D BIM models, where you can actually predict the operations and the cost and the sustainability of a project even before it is built. And you can have its operations right in front on your screen, and that's kind of science we are talking about. When we look at the art, we look at the leadership, we look at the kind of institution culture, we look at the creativity, look at the adaptability, because this is what is needed in terms of the art part of a project management. And really a project management need to equip not just only the tools, but also the art of dealing with people, with culture, with organization, with productivity, and with adaptability in the given circumstances, because the things are changing so quickly in even geopolitical environment as well as even internal fiscal environment. Things go quite rapidly wrong or right in terms of a project. So the adaptability is quite important. And given on the top of that, there is a circle which is we talked about in the earlier session about as well, is the sustainability, the environmental sustainability and the governance, which envelopes into large projects. And given that context, it also leads to success or the failure of many projects, or even stalling of many projects. So that's where the focus of this today's discussion, mainly lies because these are two quite important aspects. Sometime balancing this is very important in anybody's learning as well as in practice. The timeless structure which is provided for any project management framework is very, very simple, and it has been for ages in terms of the project initiation, the project planning, the project execution, monitoring, and closing. And if we can actually apply our art and science in all these stages equally, it will go all right in terms of what it is expected out of any project. Also, coming from the science side as well, there are more detailed subject areas. What we call in our academic world is the focus areas or critical areas. In management school, business school, we call is areas, and these can be human resource in general business or strategic planning. But in any project management qualification, we have got budget management, we have got schedule control, we have got risk, and then project management methodologies. Some of these you might be working on your project or from your own qualification, ringing the bell in terms of what kind of budget management, what kind of schedule control, project control, the risk side of things and methodologies can be adopted. These are some of these science side of things, whereas the processes and excellence and data-driven decisions also important from KPI's perspective when it comes to project delivery. There are these essential tools in terms of technology which now runs on platforms. We talk about dashboards. We talk about the BIM interface, and even integrated solutions, because earlier project management was only a spreadsheet in term, if you look at Excel, but if it comes from the all dimensions, coming from sustainability to even operations, and I have heard very recently one pitch from a researcher that BIM you can integrate with a lender software as well. That in the BIM, you put in all the constraint and your progress of the project. So based on that progress of the project, the lender can actually release your next installment, and the cost and everything is all there in the software. So all these new integrations are coming up in terms of project management. Some of the best practices for project success, you would know from your own experiences that if we establish the clear goal, which is a scope, also build some shared understanding, and plan adaptably that if there is a scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3, and we are really ready for those scenarios, we communicate really well, clearly, and we review the things regularly. These are some of these best practices to run a successful project. When it comes to art side of things, I would touch upon some of the inspiration leadership. And leadership is clearly visible when you look at any project or any success of any initiative. Even looking at from even this conference organization point of view, it's a project, and making it success requires some sort of forward thinking, the inspiration leadership, also the stakeholder engagement and creative problem solving, because problems will come definitely at all stages of project. So these are some of the human-centered leadership aspects which you need to look into your projects. And even if it comes to upskilling, normally people go for upskilling of your technical aspects, your technical qualifications, enhancing some of these things. But I would suggest that a successful project manager or a leader need to have upskilling given the new dimensions in workforce, as well as what Gen Z works with is not something what we in our age we are used to work and perform. There are different aspects and motivation for people. Because one day I was talking about how you motivate Gen Z. Somebody was saying that, can in your office stand up and clap for somebody who has done really well, and people feel bad about that. Young generation, they say that I don't want to be really celebrating that way. If you send a private message to me, thank you very much, you have done well, that is more appreciated. So small things like that really make lots of difference in how you perceive the projects, and even you celebrate small successes. Also building the culture through servant leadership. It is not about banging your team from above, but it is all about getting into the sort of scene and the action where you take the ownership, you enable the teams, you foster the trust into the team, and bring a collaborative spirit of working together. I always take an example of a leader being in the balcony and on the dance floor. When you are on the dance floor, you are really mingling with those people who are working with you, and you are encouraging, and you are making them enthusiasm. But when you need to go into balcony, you are going to take a strategic view of the project, where the things are and where the gaps are, and then you quickly come and jump onto the dance floor as well if there are gaps to be filled. So this kind of approach is really very, very much helpful in project management, rather than leading from the above. I have spoken about creativity, adaptability, and value creation because breaking down the silos and breaking down the barriers always lead to successful delivery of managing the projects. These case studies, I don't want to get into too much of case studies because everybody sitting here in this room, this presentation was done for a classroom sort of environment, but I can skip the case study, but really touch upon that there are many examples in this in this room, even with people, that where project can go wrong, and how we learn from these examples and make those mistakes, not make those mistakes again. And some case studies in terms of budget overruns. Everywhere you will find these examples, even in IT, even in hospital, healthcare expansion as well. Many new technologies are coming up, and how you manage these interface and transformation. Just to take some of the final messages from the talk is that modern project management challenges, they revolve around the scope change, the resource constraint, the stakeholder alignment, and the communication breakdown. And if we tackle these challenges well, using our tools, using our integration framework, as well as our soft skills, our leadership capabilities, things are really going to work well and lead to successful delivery of the projects. And the final slide is that some of the essential takeaway for tomorrow's leader is all about the processes, the people, kind of data intuition, the structure, the creativity, and clear boundaries, defined in delivery of those projects. So if project need to go really right, I think it is mix of this art and science, and I really find the topic very, very helpful and kind of pertinent in terms of getting that dialogue and conversation in managing these projects. And be it today we are working mainly in construction projects or healthcare projects, but there are various projects which are now requiring some of these skills, and project managers are the next generation leading these conversations, and we should be really aware of that. So again, thank you very much for providing this opportunity to talk about art and science of project management and bringing this topic on the surface. I'm really delighted and happy to see lots of known faces here in the audience. And thank you, Dr. Desai, for inviting me here for this keynote. Thank you. All the best.